Now here's the thing. Did you know that when councillors are elected to Bath and North East Somerset Council, they sign a pledge, a promise if you like, to those children and young people of the area that are in the care of the council. And to help monitor this, the young people themselves have their own council. It's called the In Care Council.
I think from a council's point of view, I think it's really important to acknowledge that actually you do have a responsibility as a councillor, and actually it is your role to kind of do what you can
for the people in care under your council.
So the councillors are our corporate parents. It's about them coming together to think about the young people's kind of best interests and putting that at the heart of their life, really. I guess that really does cover kind of them at work, them at home, what they're doing. I think it's about remembering they're acting as our kind of role models and people that are there for us in times of need, really.
Summer Valley FM.
Local radio empowering voices and sharing stories.
And those were some of the voices that work with the In Care Council. I'm Dom Chambers, and it was my pleasure to welcome into the Summer Valley FM studio some of the young people who are in the council's care to talk about the pledge that guides their progress. And as we'll hear, the pledge is a fairly new document, so it's really important to raise awareness of its existence, both for the people in care who it's designed to help, but also all those people and agencies and organisations that have a bearing on the lives of children and young people who are in care. And what better way of doing that than using the power of radio and audio? Brought to you from the studios of Summer Valley FM by Bath and North East Somerset Council, and in particular the Care Outcomes Service. Now all this came about because Councillor Chris Watt, who is the champion for looked after children at Bath and North East Somerset, is also a director of Summer Valley FM. And he put me in touch with Rachel Ward, who is the head of service for Care Outcomes. Rachel got busy, got a bunch of young people in here, and we had a really fascinating time. I learnt loads. Coming up in the podcast, we'll hear exactly what are those 11 points to the pledge, and then we'll throw open a discussion and hear the stories and views of the young people affected by the pledge. Some really powerful stories and tremendous articulation. To get us underway though, let's hear from Rachel herself, who's put all this together.
Hello, I'm Rachel Ward and I'm Head of Service for Care Outcomes in Bath and North East Somerset Council. The pledge outlines the promises we make in Bath and North East Somerset to our children and young people in care, and also those who are care leavers. It sets out the services and support that children should expect to receive from us. It sets out a benchmark against which young people, elected members, our staff, our carers and partners can judge whether corporate parenting in Bath and North East Somerset is delivering the ambitions and aspirations for our children in care and care leavers. And the pledge has recently been updated in consultation with young people who are in care and those who are care leavers, as well as staff members and counsellors. So there are 11 points to the pledge, and under each of those points are a number of promises that we make to our children and young people and care leavers here in Bath and North East Somerset. And today we've asked some young people to come along and read the pledge and talk about what it means to them.
First then are the 11 points that provide the framework for the pledge. And then the young people who came over to the studio will help us break them down a bit.
Your social worker, how we make decisions, your care plan, your independent reviewing officer, where you live, friends and family, your education, your identity, your health, leaving care and moving on. If you have any problems or worries, your social worker.
You will have a social worker and we will try our best to make this the same social worker over time. You'll have your social worker's contact details so you can reach them when you need to. However, they may not be available, but there will be someone in the team that will be able to help until your social worker is available. If you contact us, your social worker or someone else in the team will return your call within 2 working days. Your social worker will be in touch with you regularly, at least every 6 weeks, depending on your needs.
How we make decisions.
We will involve you in planning our services and explain our decisions. This means that we will ask you what you want, listen to what you say, act on what you've told us, and we will try our best to do what you ask, but sometimes we will not be able to make this promise, and when this happens, we will explain why.
Your care plan.
You will have an up-to-date care plan that is designed to meet your needs. Your care plan will consider your race, religion and cultural needs. We will have high aspirations for your opportunities and support you to achieve your goals, and will celebrate these. Your care plan will be written down and you will be given a copy. We will act on your care plan. Your care plan will be reviewed at least every 6 months. Meetings to review your care plan will be run by an independent reviewing officer. You will know their name and how to contact them.
Your independent reviewing officer.
Your independent reviewing officer.
You will have an independent reviewing officer, or IRO, who will work with you, your social worker, carers and family to ensure that your needs are being met and that your wishes and feelings are being listened to and, where possible, acted upon. We will try to ensure that you have the same IRO for every review. Should there need to be a change in your IRO, we will talk to you about this and ensure you meet your new IRO before any meetings take place. Your IRO will contact you before your reviews to obtain your views, wishes and feelings. This can be through a meeting, face-to-face, telephone or letter. You and your IRO can agree on the best way to communicate with one another. Where you live.
We will find a home that is as near to your friends and family as possible. We will find a home that suits you and meets your individual needs. If you move, we will try to keep you at the same school, if that is what you want. Before you move, except in an emergency, we will offer you an independent advocate. If you move, your independent reviewing officer will review your care plan within 4 weeks.
Friends and family.
We will ask you who you want to stay in touch with. We will help you to stay in touch with your family, friends and other people who are important to you. If you're not allowed to see someone, your social worker will make sure you understand the reasons why.
Your education.
We will help you to do the best that you possibly can. We will make sure you get a place at the best school for you. Your school will have a named teacher for children in care and their job is to look after your needs. We will make sure you have their name and contact details. You will be fully involved in your plans to support you and school. These plans will be in your personal education plan, your PEP. We will offer you high quality work experience opportunities. We will support you to remain in education after year 16 or alternatively on a traineeship or apprenticeship.
Your identity.
We will meet your religious and culture needs. We will ensure that you have opportunity to meet other people who share your way of life or culture. We will encourage you to develop your talents, interests and hobbies and support you to do things that you enjoy. We will celebrate your successes and achievements.
Your health.
We will look after your emotional needs as well as your physical health needs. We will encourage you to be healthy. We will make sure that there is someone to talk to about how you feel. We will make sure you get regular health checkups with a nurse or GP. We will make sure you get regular dental and optician checkups. You will be given the contact details for the nurse for children in care who can give you confidential advice and help you be as healthy as you can.
Leaving care and moving on.
You can stay in care until you're 18. You may even be able to continue living with your carers or in a care setting after you are 18. We will ensure that your pathway is created to plan for your move towards independence. You will have a copy of your pathway plan and the IRO will ensure that reflects what you need and the support you may require when you become 18. Your pathway plan will be reviewed every 6 months. We will support you to move on from care. We will support you to do what you decide. If you want to go back into education or training between 18 to 25, we will make a new plan to support you. We will stay in touch with you until you are 25 years old.
Well, that's the 11 points of the pledge and the breakdowns of what they mean. And now we'll broaden it out into a discussion, which begins with that potentially very destabilising aspect of being in care, where you may have to move around a lot.
There's something about your individual needs changing as you move from house to house. Kind of as my studies kind of developed and my jobs have changed, my location and base has changed too. And I think it's about recognising that whilst, kind of young people may well be placed in a good position at that time, when it comes to move, it's about reviewing what the young person needs at that time and finding what is best for them based on kind of work, study and kind of social life.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there, because I went into care back in 2015 and since then I've moved house 7-8 times. But when I first joined, they moved me from Bath out to Radstock. And then when my social worker realised that I was in college in Bath, I was working in Bath, yet I was living out in Radstock, they were like, well, no, hang on, we'll move you into Bath. So then you're nearer all your friends, you're near all your college, you're near your work, you're not having to spend God knows how long travelling. So then I moved from Radstock to Twerton because it was an easy commute. So yeah, I know what you mean when they say they're trying to help you, because if they realise that you're living mileage away from where you based, then there's no point doing all the travelling. So they will try and get you as close to everything and like give you a little hub as such. Well, like, and the best thing about going back to Twerton was like that I was back in Bath again, and I knew where everything was, and I knew where I was going, and I knew which buses I would need to be getting on, and I knew I could walk everywhere, whereas it's a bit of a walk from Bath to Bath. Whereas Twerton into town in half as bad. So, no, it was nice because it meant I did get to see a lot more of my friends and family again. Whereas I was having to get them all to come out to Radstock beforehand, and that was just trekkage.
From my experience, my social worker kind of made sure that I stayed within the same school throughout to kind of give me the best chance to kind of do well. And also my teachers were very supportive in the fact that they did kind of make others aware of what was going on. And I think that teachers were quite understanding at school with things going on at home and kind of took that into consideration when kind of approaching like deadlines and things like that.
Definitely, it's like they're a bit more, not lenient, but they have more understanding. So it's like if you come into school or college or whatever and you drop your pencil on the floor and you're bursting into tears, they're like, something's gone wrong, that's fine, we'll leave her to it, rather than, why are you crying over a pencil, that's stupid. Like, they're a lot more understanding. And it's like, I knew that when this one time I was in one of my foster placements in Radstock, and I was doing beauty therapy at college, and they'd gone away for 2 weeks, and I'd been given 3 days notice to move into my new foster placement. So I was trying to hurriedly pack, left my beauty equipment at Radstock placement, so I didn't have it with me in my holiday placement as such. And when I went into college, I just explained and said, I'm sorry, like, I've had short notice rearrangement of foster placements and I didn't have a chance to grab it. They were fine. They let me borrow all the college equipment. Like, I borrowed college uniform, I borrowed everything. I didn't think to grab my college stuff. I just grabbed my laptop, my phone, my TV and took all that with me. But yeah, no, they're definitely a lot more understanding. And if I ever needed to meet my social worker during college times, then they're like, yeah, let's go, off you go, see you later. And that was sort of it. And they're definitely a lot more understanding and try and keep you on track as well and won't let you like get sidetracked. I was only personally in college when I came into care. It was sort of as I left secondary school coming into college sort of time that I got flagged up on the system as such. But yeah, no, definitely when I was at college they definitely supported me into going and making sure I got there, and if I wasn't enjoying the course as such they just kept me going. They're like, well, you've only got a few months left, come on, you can do this. Like, there's no point dropping out now when you're so close to the end, because otherwise you've just wasted the year. And in the end of it I did get my level 2 beautiful qualification, but they were there to keep me going and being like, come on, keep going. Like, but no, like, they definitely helped me stay in like the settings and things like that. Like, it definitely helped.
I think the structure of college or school is useful because you can go there part-time or full-time, and it kind of gives you the stability through placements, and it's something that you can kind of relate to. And even if you're not kind of there, then there's kind of work to be going on in the background. And I think that can provide kind of a way to kind of escape, and it's something to focus your mind on.
It's almost as if everything's falling down around you.
Yeah,
school's there still standing so you can go and hide.
I was in a school in Keynsham, but then I moved because it was 45 minutes to an hour journey and I just got tired of it, so I moved. And I knew that would be like difficult to try and fit in year 10 and everything, but I found it okay, made friends and everything.
I found some of them to be supportive, and then some of them were female doggy. So it's like I get time out of lessons to say go and meet my social worker, or I had to go and sort some out, or I had to go and view a different foster placement or something. And then people in the course were like, oh, well, why is she getting all this time off? Why is she getting all this leniency with the homework and all of this lot? And then it wasn't until I turned around to them and, well, actually, I don't live with my parents. The council are my parents. How does that make you feel now? They were like, okay. So it's like they did need to sort of be told, because they didn't like understand if I was trying to beat about the bush.
I think it's about kind of understanding that people are going to say things and you're just going to have to accept it to a certain extent. From my point of view, I'm not going to tell everybody that I'm in foster care, and why should I? So if you want to say things, because that's me. I'm sorry, but if you don't like it, tough.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I was younger, I found that more difficult to accept because I hadn't quite accepted the fact that I was in foster care myself. But I think, as I've grown up, is one of those things, and get grip. I guess it's kind of about working with social workers and other kind of mental health professionals as well, to kind of become more kind of self-confident and less self-conscious of the status. I think the common theme through this is mental health, because all of these kind of changes within the pledge can really impact your mental health. And as we were saying earlier about education with the teachers, it's about them supporting you through the difficult times and understanding that your mental health's not going to be in a great state when you're moving house 5 times a year.
Yeah, and ensuring that you don't go on a downward spiral. If they can, because I know a lot of the time when you do go on a downward spiral, you as a person don't notice it. It's the people around you that notice it. They are there to help you. They are there going, look, come on, get yourself back up, and they build you back up again so you can only go up rather than come crashing down.
I think it is also down to the social worker as well, because it depends on how well the relationship is, but I found with my social workers there's patterns of my mental health and they're to support me through that, and it's about knowing that they're there or another member of the team is there as and when you need it. And I think my social worker has done a good job of that.
Yeah, because from about September 2017 to December 2018, I was living with the YMCA in like their supported housing called Platform for Life, and loads of everything went wrong, and I didn't feel safe in the house. I had my boyfriend coming over to see me every day, and the YMCA didn't like that, saying he'd moved in when he hadn't, just because he was seeing me, you know, as they do. And then I remember saying to them that I was going to go and stay at his for the weekend because I was fed up with them accusing me. And then you were on holiday, but I had a phone call from them telling me I'd been evicted because I was going to go and stay at his house and he'd moved in, rah. I was on my lunch break at this point at work, so I burst into tears on my half-an-hour lunch break, tried to get off something because Simon wasn't there. I rang the social worker main office phone, and I was just crying down the phone to the lady at the desk, and she was going, right, calm down, and they calmed me down, got me to explain it, and then got a social worker to call me back within about 10 minutes because I was crying down the phone to her. But it's like, that didn't faze her. She just calmed me down, got me to speak to someone, and then helped me get through my issues, like, which is what you want to know they're there for, because you want to know you can call them crying and they'll help you.
I think as mental health is being more accepted in society, I think professionals are obviously having more training around it and actually understanding it and not being scared of it, which I think is what comes down to in that kind of moment of panic or moments of panic. It's about ensuring that the kind of support network around you is there, and, you know, kind of sitting down and strategically looking at a plan as to who's there for which kind of part of your health and kind of emotional well-being, I suppose. I think the pledge is helpful in the fact that social workers know kind of a point of reference as to work out what they need to do. I don't know how much impact the actual pledge itself has on the young person because they may not be aware of it, but it's about the social workers and professionals around you working from it. And so it's kind of a guideline for them as, oh, I mean, at the same time, I have, you know, I've said, look, hang on a minute, that you're not following your pledge. Yeah, I have kind of done that.
Well, obviously it affects us, but I wasn't fully aware of it until back last year, I think it was. Maybe the year before that. Like, it wasn't something that they're like, yeah, we have got a pledge. But now, obviously, we all know it's there. Like, we can definitely, like, obviously I know we can go out. We can be like, well, hang on. Have you read their pledge? They're meant to be giving us, like, you read this and then you can tell your social worker what to do, sort of thing. But then, because as you said, obviously, if they're not holding up to it, you can be like, oh, hang on, you promised to do this for me and you're not doing it. So
we have started trying to raise awareness of the pledge by putting a pocket-sized pledge, which kind of is really small, into the LAC packs, so the looked after children's packs that get sent to young people when they're first kind of put into care or into the system.
Because that's when I first found out about when I fully become under Section 20, because I wasn't under Section 20 for a while, and then when I did become under it, that is when I got told about the pledge and everything.
I'm glad to see you got your pack. That's what I was thinking then. And you?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those things, and I am a little geek when I get the little packs. I love looking through them all, and I'm there like, oh my gosh, what have I got? Yeah. And I was reading this pledge, and I was there, and I was like, well, you haven't done that, you haven't done that, you haven't done that. And then she was like, oh, well, now you know about it, and I got to do it. But no, it did mean that I could tailor the support to me. So it's like I was picking out the bits that I would need help with, like my education. I was a nightmare at school before I had more support. Like, I would used to skip most of my lessons. One person would say something to me, off I go, gone. Doors would be smashed, God knows what else. Whereas now, if something does happen, I know I can like calm myself down from it all. And then if stuff goes really bad, like when I was at college and I was getting disciplinary, Simon would be getting a phone call. Simon, I've done this. You might be having a phone call from the college. But it means that they're more aware, so then they can support you more. And also with the pledge, it is teamwork as well. You've got to make sure that you're keeping up your side of it for them to be able to keep up their side of it.
I guess it's about working kind of in partnership and understanding that the professional is only there to kind of try and support you, because I can understand when you first come into care, it's kind of like, oh my God, there's so many people around me and trying to do things. And for myself, I went into kind of protective mode and was like, nope, nobody's doing anything, because of the background I came from, that I just kind of freaked. Anybody trying to take control.
It's almost as though there's too many people trying to help you, but they're all doing their own thing. Like the way that one of my support workers explained it all to me, which cracked me up. She just looked at me and went, basically, imagine it as each person is putting one item of clothing on you. One person's doing your shoes, one person's doing your trousers, one person's doing your top, one person's doing your jumper. That's it. You're dressed, but with lots of people helping you. I was like, okay, I kind of understand it now.
But then there's the flip side of that, is your outfit might not match. if you get me, like, it might not.
This is gold stuff.
Honestly, I am writing this down.
No, I like that, yeah. Bright pink shoes, black trousers, a bright blue jumper.
Yeah. So therefore, that's why kind of multi-agency working is really important. I think the document could be used by more professionals, including schools, colleges, like nurses who looked after children's nurses, to kind of spread the picture of actually it is their responsibility as well, because when we're at school, really it's kind of their role to support us with our needs there and then. They're kind of the first point of call when we are in that setting. I think from a counsellor's point of view, I think it's really important to acknowledge that actually you do have a responsibility as a counsellor, and actually it is your role to kind of do what you can.
For the people in care under your counsel, yeah.
So the counsellors are our corporate parents, and kind of within my role as the in-care counsellor, I've been to speak to them. And it is really valuable because it's about them coming together to think about young people's like kind of best interests and putting that at the heart of their life, really. I guess that really does cover kind of them at work, them at home, what they're doing. I think it's about remembering they're acting as our kind of role models and people that are there for us in times of need, really.
They're sort of the people that we would look up to.
Yeah. I think using the pledge with professionals and reviewing it to kind of work out what support network you have and what the pledge could do to help you grow. I think that's probably where this should go into the future.
It'll help with the multi-agency working, because obviously you can show the pledge to, say, social, CAMS, off the record, anyone, and then they can all be like, okay, if we help pick up on, say, obviously with the education, all right, we'll make sure we'll give them some more support. And then your health, CAMS and off the record can come in and be like, oh, hang on, I can see they're going on a downward spiral. We might need to give them a bit of extra support there. And I think it's been caused by school or whatever. So, no, I can see where you're going with that, because it's definitely like, if everyone's aware of it, then everyone can work from one document almost. And it makes the young person an awful lot more supported and a bit more understanding of what's going on, because they can see what's getting promised to them, rather than being like, yeah, we're here to support you, but we don't know how yet.
Summer Valley FM.
Local radio, empowering voices and sharing stories.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to everyone, to you all that have come here today and obviously helped reading through our pledge, but also talking about and sharing your experiences and just sharing and giving me inspiration and kind of aspirations around what we can do for our young people and care leavers. So a massive thank you.
My thanks to Rachel and indeed everybody who came in to support this. I have to say that your enthusiasm and passion to communicate your stories and views is infectious. This podcast special was written and produced by myself, Dom Chambers, for Summer Valley FM, but I would like to mention that much of the editing was done by Jaden Carter on a work placement from Rithington School. As for the pledge itself, if you'd like to know more about it or indeed download a copy, go to bathnes.gov.uk.